There was a terrible smell in Heartland. A thick, dark, smelly cloud in the shape of a footprint had risen over Heartland, and with it a trumping sound. The smell was so strong it was polluting the atmosphere, making everyone very slow and very tired.
What in Heartland could be responsible for this?
Yawned Kiddie Kindness.
We need to take a closer look and get to the root of the problem before Heartland becomes polluted and everything comes to a stop,
said Sergeant Self-Control.
Look,
said Kiddie Kindness.
The smell cloud and trumping noise is coming from the other side of that hill.
Good observation, Kindness. Let's go and investigate and see what's causing the terrible smell and making everyone tired,
said Sergeant Self-Control. And with all the energy they could muster, off they went to find the root of the smelly problem. Saving energy was very important to Heartland's future because it helped preserve the environment by reducing the carbon footprint given off by gases and other waste. In fact, Heartland had a very low carbon footprint, but now a very large one had appeared and it had to be investigated.
Keep climbing,
said Sergeant Self-Control, encouraging Kindness, who was almost overcome with tiredness.
A few more steps and we'll be at the top of the hill.
No sooner had they reached the top than the root of the problem was revealed. Before their tired, weary eyes, at the bottom of the hill was a large couch, which was blocking the entrance to Heartland's recycling centre. Sat in the middle of it, fast asleep, was a very dirty, smelly potato called Laziness, and idly hovering over him was a very smelly methane gas cloud as Laziness let off another methane gas trump.
Oh dear,
said Sergeant Self-Control, holding onto his nose.
Look at all this mess. Now this could be hazardous for Heartland.
The influence that Laziness had brought into Heartland had already encouraged all kinds of littering. Heartland's waste could not go in to be recycled because Laziness had blocked the entrance. As a result, Heartland's health was beginning to suffer. Heartland had an excellent reputation for cleanliness and had been awarded a Clean Bill of Health. Everyone in Heartland had taken responsibility to practice the 3 R's. Responsibility for reducing Heartland's waste, responsibility for reusing Heartland's waste, and responsibility for recycling Heartland's waste. Once upon a time, before the fruits arrived, Heartland was one huge waste dump, polluted by all kinds of waste that had attracted vermin like rats and seagulls, mice and flies. The atmosphere and Heartland's water supply was dirty and poisonous, all because of the rotting, dirty potatoes like Laziness. The fruit's job in Heartland was to promote healthiness by keeping everything clean. They worked hard together to achieve this by recycling Heartland's waste. Everyone in Heartland worked together to promote the 3 R's, and everyone had taken delivery of wheelie bins. A green bin for all the garden waste, a grey bin for everything that couldn't be recycled. They even had a bag for paper, and a green box for glass and tin cans, and even a bucket for food. Everything and everyone had worked together to make Heartland a safe place to live. Now, because of Laziness, Heartland was in danger of becoming a waste dump again, and all the hard work could be undone, and that simply couldn't happen. Heartland needed to be cleaned up and safe from being polluted.
We need to get to the root of this problem and fast, before Laziness's influence overcomes Heartland,
said Sergeant Self-Control. In the very short time laziness had been blocking the main gate and had made himself at home, he had a fridge, a TV and a coffee table. And all this was because of the idle, do-nothing influence laziness had brought with him. The road was littered with all kinds of waste, most of which could be reused and recycled, all of which now was hazardous to the environment and Heartland's clean bill of health.
We need a plan of action,
said Sergeant Self-Control.
You must go and gather everyone together, Kindness, whilst I go and get some equipment.
By the time Kindness had got all the fruit together and they gathered back at the entrance to Heartland's recycling centre, laziness was sleeping soundly. Sergeant Self-Control had begun the recycling process and had reduced the waste by reusing some old wood, cardboard and paint to make a sign, making a new rule in Heartland, which he put next to the sleeping, dirty potato.
Because of his idleness, when he awakes, laziness will be hungry,
said Sergeant Self-Control.
But this could work to our advantage. From now on, it is against the law in Heartland to feed laziness.
It was a well-known fact that laziness wouldn't even lift his own hand to his own mouth to feed himself. Laziness would never take a bath, which is why his skin was rotten and very smelly. Sadly, because of his laziness, he wasn't very popular, because his do-nothing attitude was a bad example and his influence couldn't stay in Heartland.
Let's go to work,
said Sergeant Self-Control as he handed out protective gloves, aprons and, much to everyone's relief, gas masks.
Once we have removed laziness from the entrance, we can clear the streets and everything can be cleared into separate piles. One for reducing, one for reusing, one for recycling. Then we can decide what to do with him.
The fruit worked really hard together to clean up Heartland, and because of their hard work, nothing would be put to waste. Heartland's recycling centre was great for turning unwanted, unused materials into reusable, wanted materials, but it had never been left with a lazy, dirty, trumping potato before. Because of the enthusiasm and energy, all the noise of cleaning and talking had stirred laziness from his sleep.
What's going on?
Said laziness with a big, smelly yawn. Looking at baby Love, he said,
I'm so hungry. Will someone feed me?
What a dilemma. How could any of the fruit say no? It wouldn't be kind. It wouldn't be showing love. But it couldn't be good for Heartland to feed laziness. And now it was against the law.
What can we do?
Asked Kiddie Kindness.
His lazy attitude has contributed to his smelly, rotten skin, and his influence has been very bad for Heartland,
diagnosed Dr. Gentleness.
He won't even lift his own hand to feed himself,
said Goodness the paramedic.
And we can't feed him because it's against the law of Heartland,
said Baby Love. Sergeant Self-Control had the answer.
Laziness, you can eat as much as you like, but you have to be willing to change.
Change? Change into what?
Said Laziness.
Well,
said Sergeant Self-Control,
you have to become a new potato and learn to feed yourself. Or because you're of green waste, we will have to put you on the compost heap.
All of the fruit stood around Laziness to encourage him to become a new potato and leave his lazy ways behind. It was either that or he would be left to decay on the compost heap.
I can't do it. I won't do it. It's not my fault I'm lazy. It's what I'm good at and it's what I do best. I don't know any other way and I don't know how to change.
Laziness was very good at making excuses for his behaviour.
But we can help you. All you need to do is learn to be responsible. Stop being lazy and get involved. Be willing to change. Be recycled and reused, and we will find a job for you in Heartland,
said Mrs. Patience patiently.
And you're in the right place for that,
said Sergeant Self-Control, opening the main gate now that Laziness and his couch had been removed. Knowing that this do-nothing influence couldn't stay in Heartland anymore and no one was allowed to feed Laziness, hunger drove Laziness off his couch.
I surrender,
he cried as he fell to his knees.
I want to change. I don't want to be a lazy, dirty potato anymore. Please teach me how to feed myself. I'll do anything you ask me to. I'm not ready for the compost heap. Not yet.
Everyone cheered and clapped. The day had been saved. The bill of health had been saved, and a dirty potato had been saved from his lazy ways. In no time at all, with a lot of hard work, everything was back to normal in Heartland, and everything was found to be back in its place. The environment and water supply was clean and free of pollution. Heartland's future was secure. The 3 R's had worked again in Heartland, and all of the waste had been cleaned up and either reduced, reused, or like the dirty potato Laziness, recycled. That night a celebration was held in honour of a new potato who had found a new attitude and a new responsibility with a place to work in Heartland's recycling centre. He was given a new name, written on a new badge made with love, kindness and patience. Out of reused, reduced and recycled waste, of course. The end.